Hey guys,
What's up?
Rolling Angel Thomas here,
Pumped up to see ya!
back with another video.
2 people.
One marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were just talking about how husbands set the atmosphere in the home. And, I know a lot of people go through a lot of things where, you wish your house was more relaxed, or you wish your wife would do things a little differently around the house, or you wish she'd cook more or submit more, or allow you to lead more, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
But we were talking as husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. And when we think about that, Christ loved the church so much that Christ was willing to die for the church. And so a husband should love his wife so much so that he's willing to die for her. But also, Christ also was, he was also a perfect leader.
Yeah.
He was merciful. He was forgiving. He had a gentle spirit, a gentle hand. He was kind. He gave grace. He wasn't judgmental. He loved us even when we were unlovable.
Yeah.
He kept his spirit bucket full. And so when you think about that, that's an example that Christ was leaving for the husbands to lead their homes. So in loving your wife the way Christ loved the church and following his example, your wife will in turn want to submit to you more, because she's starting to see that leadership of a husband, and you're being kind and being gentle spirited with her, and forgiving and sacrificing and all of these things that Christ was. You're now becoming that and growing into that, and by default you'll begin to see changes in your wife.
Absolutely.
And through that, you'll begin to see changes in your children.
Yeah.
Your children will start to respect you more and show you and give you more authority, and so would your wife. I mean, you'll start to see these things grow and form, because that's the way God designed it to do. Wives naturally want to be submissive. Wives naturally want to be more of a servant to their husbands, to their families. It's something that God put inside of us. It's nothing that we can take away. Yes, some women may be a little bit more independent because they had to take on that role probably before the marriage or growing up as a child. But all in all, God put a servant spirit in each and every one. So it starts with the head. It starts with the husband leading from the front and being that great example, being the spirit leader, being kind-hearted and forgiving and gentle. Being those things in turn will change the atmosphere in your family. If you want your family to start going to church more, you're the head of your home. You guide them and lead them to the church. I'm not saying pull them and be forceful and Bible beating. I'm saying being kind and gentle, and through that they'll want to follow you. Sunbars are down. Sun's blinding me.
Yeah.
So you be the example. You set the example and the tone for the household that you want. You think you want that?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, I remember a few times. I would come home and be stressed out because of work or whatever. And I mean, that atmosphere would carry throughout everything. Man, Angel had her a nice little fluffy day, and she's all, "Hey, honey."
But immediately when I saw him stressed out or anxious or frustrated, I would then in turn take on that immediately. I mean, not even knowing that I did. I took on that burden, and because I want to be a fixer. I want to, so through that, and because it's something that I can't necessarily fix, I'd get anxious and frustrated and flustered too.
Yeah, I have to always be conscious of how I come into the household, so that the house remains calm, or even when the house begins chaotic, guard myself with the gospel shoes of peace. I walk in and I have to present a calm atmosphere, and then suddenly the whole atmosphere relaxes after a couple of minutes.
No, it
We
does.
get there.
No, it does.
It does.
Most of the time, we'll get together and we'll start to pray about what we're going through.
Yeah.
So Roland has definitely been an amazing example of leadership and kind-heartedness and forgiving being merciful, and just setting the tone in our home. We realized that early on in our marriage, that every time, it never failed, every time he was frustrated or flustered, then the entire household atmosphere would change.
Yeah.
Whether we were frustrated over finances, or he had a hard day at work, or whatever it was, every single time, like clockwork, every time.
Yep.
His mood would dramatically change the atmosphere in the house.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crucial to always, to always have your mind on the atmosphere, and just and staying calm when it's time to be calm, and then and then when it's time to rise up too, I mean, being able to spiritually recognize that, and so if Ariel's having a bad dream, or wife's having a bad dream, well, then maybe we're on a spiritual attack, and so just rising up and say, okay, we need to pray about this, and leading that, and I remember like when we first got together, it wasn't a custom for all of us to pray together, and so
I never prayed out loud anyways. I would always pray in my mind, with God, but praying out loud in front of somebody just was, even though he was my husband, it was just weird, Yeah. It was something I had to get used to, but by Roland staying strong and staying steady, he was like, you can do this, and he's like, you don't have to be all deep and wonderful when you're talking to God. Just talk to him like you're talking to me, and just tell him what's on your heart. And by him leading, it allowed me to, and it was a judgment-free zone, and he allowed me to grow and become and grow into who I needed to be, and let God work on me and change me.
Absolutely. And so that's what's up.
We're totally talking about it.
And so yeah, I mean, and letting them grow. Then we became a praying family together. Ariel started to learn how to pray by herself, and teaching her and leading her, and Angel, being able to pray together, and so it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm. But it took that leadership.
It started out leading it, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it's, I heard a statistic, and maybe I can Google it to find it, but most kids most kids come to Christ because not because of the mother, but because of the father, and the father leading the spirituality of the home. So I mean, it's crucial. It's crucial if we want our kids to come to Christ. It's crucial. It's all around crucial. And so, but here's the deal: if it's not happening now, it's okay. It can be done. All you have to do is just begin to lead it, and one step at a time. So,
yeah.
I mean, again, it's just the whole point we're getting at is that if you want something to change in your house, it starts with you, and then the main person it starts with your husband. And so hubby's out there. Listen, man, if you want something to change, you got to lead it.
Time to lead.
You got to lead it, and you don't have to force it. You don't have to browbeat it.
No, it's not beating them down. That's not what leadership is. Leadership isn't beating somebody down. I mean, you think about a manager at a store. Is an effective leader, or is he just a manager? Is he just beating people up and with his words, and making them feel bad about themselves, or is he a leader uplifting people and allowing them to grow and maybe slowly giving them certain responsibilities? I mean, a good leader and a manager are two different people. You don't want to be a manager of your home. You want to be a leader. Yeah. So you want to use Christ as your example. He was gentle spirit. He was kind-hearted. He was forgiving. He was merciful. He was graceful. He was loving even when people were unlovable.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. When he was hanging on that cross, he said, "Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do." Even when we were being horrible to him, he still begged for our forgiveness for us.
Yeah.
And so you use that as your example, and I mean, you do marriage God's way, you have 100% chance of success. 100%
chance.
That's it.
So, pumped up, guys. Excited for your marriages. Keep tuning in. Keep tuning in more videos, and you'll grow and you'll learn something.
Oh, you can't even see us. Bye, y'all.
Bye.